Hey, you guys. So, welcome to mine and Jenna's Down and Dirty Clean Eating for Beginners. Hopefully, I don't look too funky in the slide. I decided to go up into my office and do this for you guys. Anyway, so we're super excited to do this. This is the first time we have done a live event on YouTube / Google Hangout / we are awesome hanging out with each other kind of thing. So, let's just get into this. So first things first, what is clean eating? This is something that people ask all the time, and it's super, super easy to understand. One big thing about cleaning is that it implies whole, real foods. So the greener the better, the more colors the better. So you're looking for veggies and fruits, whole grains, animal and plant-based proteins, nuts, seeds, and oils. And it's also meant that you should pregnancy brain. Hi. it also meant that you should I can't even say these words that are not coming out of my mouth, obviously. Close to natural as possible, close to the earth, close to the ground, close to the soil, so to speak. There we go. Hey, so minimally processed, not packaged, or originating from a factory. Cooking at home and finding good ingredients are highly encouraged. So it sounds super simple, but it can be super frustrating and super hard. If you're ever unsure, you can always flip over packages and read the ingredients. More than 9 times out of 10, if you can't understand a damn thing that's on the back of there and you don't know what it is, it's probably processed. And you can always Google it, or you can ask us to help you make decisions. So if it comes in a box and it can survive an apocalypse like Twinkies and cockroaches, you probably don't want to eat it. And it's not clean eating. So there's that. That's what clean eating is.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I had unmuted myself. So now that you guys know what clean eating is, I want to talk to you about why you should clean eat. So I always think back to when I was super hungry, I would sit down with a bag of Cheetos and I could eat that entire bag of Cheetos and I would never be full. In fact, by the time I finished the bag of Cheetos, I felt like vomiting. If anything, I felt really sick to my stomach. And the reason is that when you have these processed foods, your brain doesn't know that you're full because it's not getting the nutrients you need to give it the energy. And so you can eat that whole bag of chips or Cheetos or crap and never feel full because your brain isn't making the right connections that it needs to. The bottom line is there's no nutritional value in chips, so you're never going to feel full. So why clean eating? Because it's going to give you energy. You're going to have clearer skin. You're going to be fueling your body to have a successful day. There's positive psyche. So yeah, your food can totally influence how you feel. If you're eating like crap, I know I personally, if I eat like crap, I feel like crap and I get really sad. It's going to help you lose weight or maintain weight or gain weight, depending on what your goals are. It can do all three of those things. You don't have to eat junk to gain weight and gain muscle, right? And not to mention, it's cheaper than eating out. So if I go and I'm going to order takeout food, for example, I'm going to spend probably 5 times as much as if I just cooked it myself or made something with the same exact materials, and it's going to be less in sodium. So there's that energy and clearer skin coming back.
I'm just going to add to that, but when you cook it at home, you know what's in it. I mean, you never know how much butter, how much salt, how much other crap that they put into it, or even how they cook it. You guys will be super surprised that when you go out to major chain restaurants, a lot of them are microwaving their food. Anyway, let's keep on going. So how to clean eat on a budget. Your first big step is really just to eliminate these processed foods from your diet, or eliminate them as much as possible. It's probably one of the best things that you can do when it comes to trying to clean eat. So staying on that outer perimeter of your grocery store as opposed to going down the aisles, because everything in those aisles are really not that fantastic for you. And the processed foods are typically loaded with sodium, sugar, and fats. So what happens with the sodium, sugar, and fats? It sticks around, it hangs out, it's in those magical areas that you absolutely don't want them to be. So stay away from the processed foods. Processed foods are absolutely the devil. Like Jenna was talking about, those Cheetos, man, they're delicious in the time being, but typically you end up feeling like crap. If you eat them regularly, you're gaining weight, your skin looks like Shatsky, and it's not fun. I mean, overall, you're just dissatisfied with all around with everything. When it comes to processed foods, majority of the time they can make you can make them, like Jenna said, at home in a clean version, so they taste better usually. Another way is increasing your veggies. The greener the better, or even just a typical rainbow. I actually just made a dish tonight that consisted of beets, which I never ever thought in a million years that I would like, yams, onion, and carrots, and just a little bit of olive oil and salt, and it's the most delicious thing in the world. It's mind-blowing how much I like these crazy veggies that I never liked before. You're also going to want to drop the saturated fats. You don't have to cut out all fats, but you have to make better choices when it comes to them. Easy swaps. So instead of mayo in that tuna salad, put some avocado in there. My husband will attest to the fact that it's so much better than mayo. You also want to cut back on the alcohol. I know, you guys, this is like the hardest thing to fathom. And if I wasn't pregnant, it's possible I'd be sitting here with an IPA in my hand, because I love beer. I love whiskey. I love all of that good, terrible, bad for you stuff. But also, if you're drinking this regularly, one, it's always adding to your waistline. Two, if you're anything like me, you get enough tipsy and you're like, let's order pizza, or maybe we should do Dinner Dash or whatever it is, and get them to deliver food to the house, because Jack in the Box sounds really, really good right now, which is never, ever a great thing, right? You also want to decrease your sugar intake, which is obvious. You can get great sugars from your fruits, so definitely start adding those. And also limit those salts. Adding table salt altogether is something that really isn't the best for you. And I honestly stopped doing that for the most part. Just because, one, it has water retention, and having too much sodium in your diet just isn't good. You can always substitute stuff like turmeric, or even cumin or ginger or any of that kind of stuff. And it's really, really delicious. You also want to choose whole grains, eat less meat, because meat, actually, our serving sizes are only supposed to be 3 to 4 ounces, but I've noticed that, especially when you go out, our serving sizes are like anywhere from 6 to 12. That's so much meat. I already mentioned upping the fruit ante, and last but not least, cutting out the white flour and refined grains. So, with that being said, I'm going to pass it on some meal prepping with Miss Jenna.
All right, so the last thing that we want to talk to you guys about tonight is when to meal prep. So we live in a society right now where we want the microwave fixed for everything. I know personally, I used to eat the prepackaged meals because I could pop it in the microwave and I was good to go. The thing is, those like prepackaged meals are so high in sodium, it's never going to get you anywhere. So the best thing you can do for yourself is make your own prepackaged meals and kind of make your own little meals set up ahead. So I also hate cooking. I hate doing the dishes. And frankly, like, the thought of spending a long time in the kitchen just drains me. So I've come up with a list of tips that I'm going to share with you guys in terms of meal prepping and getting the most out of those meals. So I personally have gotten it down to where I can meal prep for the entire week in about an hour, 2 if I'm moving really slow and not multitasking really well. But just because I do it in one day and I spend an hour or 2 doing it doesn't mean that you have to. You do what works best for you. I have a couple of clients right now that'll do a couple of days and then they prep the next couple of days. And then I have another one that preps all of her lunches so that she can grab it on her way out to work, but then she cooks a different meal for her family every night. So really it's about figuring out what works best for you. So again, these are just some tips and tricks that I've come up with over the years to help you guys. Number 1, and these are in no particular order, Number one, buy frozen vegetables. So make sure when you look at that package, you look and see that there's only that vegetable in there. Or if it's a mixed vegetable, that it's only, you know, the cauliflower, the carrots, and the broccoli, and it's not the cauliflower, the broccoli, and xanthan gum 225 or whatever it is. And ideally, if you can find them organic, that's like the best option. But at the very least, if you buy frozen vegetables, you're going to be saving yourself time chopping those vegetables. And it's also going to be one less dish. My favorite recipe actually for lunch was I would get frozen broccoli and then frozen brown rice and then not frozen chicken, but like chicken, the rotisserie chicken at the store, because you can get that and use that. And sometimes they even have it where you can pull the meat is already pulled off for you, so you don't even have to pull it off. And as long as you're not having the skin, you're helping to lower that sodium level and you're good. So I would throw that in there with a little bit of teriyaki sauce, some low sodium teriyaki sauce, and call it a day. Like that was the easiest meal, and it took me literally 2 minutes just to measure everything out correctly. So super easy. The other thing that works really well is to pick recipes that have overlapping ingredients. It's kind of weird to buy 1 tablespoon of rolled oats for a random meatball recipe. The fact is you can't rarely, well, I guess you can at Sprouts because they have those big like tubs for wholesale. So I guess technically you could get 1 tablespoon of rolled oats, but I think you get the idea that if you're going for this random meatball recipe that you found, and you're getting one of this and one of that and constantly getting like a little bit of everything, it's going to get really expensive. So you want to try to try to plan your meals so that you're not stuck buying all these random ingredients that you're not going to use any other time and that are going to end up going down on you. Because like Sydney said, you really want to stick to those whole foods and those fresh vegetables and all that jazz. So if you're constantly getting a little bit of everything, it's going to end up going bad on you. Another tip is to multitask. I will infamously like turn on the rice cooker, put something in the oven, have something else going on the stovetop, and then I'm portioning out containers for the week and for my lunches. The more you can multitask, the better. So that multitasking can make the 3-hour prep day turn into an hour. And like I said before, that rotisserie chicken, that's a really good, like guys, straight up. Now it is gonna be like higher sodium than if you just like boil the chicken or bake it yourself. But when you're in a pinch, it's really a good option. Those are the big ones that I have for you guys. And Sydney and I are super excited because obviously we did this to give you guys a little heads up about what clean eating is about and how to get started. But we have developed some meal plans. Excuse me, we have a ton of recipes, and we're actually going to be doing a week-long group starting 1 week from today, which is November 27th. So obviously this one was free. That particular group is only $30, so it's less than $4 a day. Is that what 30 divided by 7 is? Yeah, it's like 4 and change. Something like that, to get this full week of meal planning and recipes. So if you're interested in learning even more and kind of taking your clean eating to the next step, we're not going to make you do it over Thanksgiving because that's just mean. So 1 week from today, we're going to do a week-long group. So November 27th. So shoot us a message and we'll get you in on it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.